Hey, we're back.
Hey, we are live. Oh, I thought Winter had been replaced by a robot already. So we are live, and you see, we got a couple of very special guests here today. We have Mr. Winter Jones and Mrs. Susan Leonardson, and in the
Funnel
background there, we
baby.
have Funnel Baby. Yes,
That's
in case
guest
you ever heard
one.
of the infamous Funnel Baby,
Yeah.
there's the Funnel Baby right there. So, just a couple of quick things. As everybody knows, we've been going live twice a week for the last few weeks, and we're going to continue doing this leading up until Funnel Hacking Live on February 21st, which is, I think, 23 days ish away from right now. If you want to get tickets, go to funnelhackinglive.com. Get signed up there. It's in a really cool place. Apparently, the Fountain Blue up in Vegas. Never been there, but the pictures look pretty cool. So that should be good. And what we've been talking about the last few weeks is things like Marketing Secrets AI and Overskill, both of which Winter and Susan are pretty much in control of running a large part of these, at least. And if you aren't signed up for Marketing Secrets or Overskill, and you need to get a link, especially for Overskill, just hit one of us up. We should be able to get you a link so you can jump the line, because if not, there are like 8,000 people in excuse me, in line ahead of you. If you want to be able to jump the line, though, and get working on it right now, just let us know and we can get you a link. And if you want to be on the show, we still have a few openings left for the next, I think we got 4 or 5 more shows before Funnel Hacking Live. If you want to jump on there, show off something you built in Overskill, something you built with ClickFunnels, something you're building in Marketing Secrets. You want to do that, get on there, show us all of your cool stuff. We're going to do that. We have at least one show next week on Tuesday. I think I have one opening on that. We may or may not do a show on Friday because it is going to be Labor Day weekend. So I think I've hit on everything. And before we got started here just now, we were talking about the massive change in AI since the end of last year. When I first started working with Madison in particular, doing AI stuff, it was mostly just images, videos, mid-journey, things like that. And I looking at people using things like N8N and other builders, and I just like, I'm going to wait until somebody creates something that makes this a lot easier. Well, then come along about January of this year is when everything changed. Suddenly, the AI models got 10 times smarter overnight. And that's when I really started getting back into this again. And then Russell and Todd came out with Marketing Secrets. When was that about, Susan? Was that May?
April.
April?
Hmm.
Okay, so Marketing Secrets, and we'll have Susan tell you guys more about what that is in a minute here. But they come out with that, which is basically an AI platform where you essentially, I mean, you may have heard this term before, but your AI brain or your second brain, or whatever, something along those lines, second brain. And a lot of people are building them on their own. Well, they decided, meaning ClickFunnels, Russell and Todd decided to take Russell's brain, everything he's ever done in the past, put it inside of Marketing Secrets. They call it the Funnel Oracle in there, at least I think that's what they call it, and then apply AI to it. But then you can also put your own stuff on top of it. So not only do you have your own stories, your own history, your own self, your own business, but you also then have the brain is trained on Russell and everything that he has taught over the last 20 years. And together combined, it's putting out some really cool stuff. And they got 4, 5, 6, 8 different tools in there that are just incredible what they will pump out. And frankly, it's cheap. The whole thing is cheap. Doesn't even use that many credits most of the time. So, I mean, you can get something built. You can get a whole email sequence done. It'll cost you a couple of bucks. So why don't we start with that, Susan? Let us know, what did Winter help with this at all, or is he just kind of hanging out and just scooping around?
Pretty sure Winter built like the whole thing.
Oh,
so,
okay.
so I came in late to the whole journey. So it was already built and launched by time I came into the picture. So Winter can definitely speak more to the early stages of it. Uh, but yeah, so it is doing exactly what you said. There's been some updates to it since it's launched, and the whole team has put effort into that. But it is a really powerful tool. It's really awesome. And it pairs with, we get a question all the time of like, what do I still need ClickFunnels if I have Marketing Secrets AI? And how do they fit together? And so Marketing Secrets AI is all about creating the marketing, literally the assets for your marketing, your plan, your content, your copy, the graphics. It helps you do more than that though as well. Actually, just this morning, we do open office hour every Wednesdays and Fridays. And just this morning, someone was on there asking, like, we call the AI inside of Marketing Secrets AI the chief of staff. And so they asked, can I ask the chief of staff to like be my business manager and keep me on task? And I was like, well, let's try it. And so I took that as an example. I went and put it into my own, and sure enough, it was like, yeah, I can help you do all of these things. Just tell me what we need to do. Do you want me to create a schedule for you? We can create a daily, weekly thing where I can tell you the priorities for what you need to be working on. And it was pulling in all of this other context that I have taught it in other areas in the app. I could actually identify information that it had pulled in to this idea and train of thought from like 4 different areas in the app. So that's why it's so powerful, because you can be putting all your stuff in there. You can teach it about your offers, your frameworks, the attractive character, your avatar, and have other chats with it for creating other things. And then it has all of that context the next time you're asking it to do something. And it also has Russell's frameworks built into it. It's basically like if we could take all of Russell's books and all of the trainings that he's ever done at all of the FHLs and everything that people have ever paid him money for regarding business and marketing, and just put it all in one place and interact with an AI that knows all of that and knows my own business, because I've taught my own business to it, like that would give me great output and give me good stuff to use. And then ClickFunnels, of course, we all know ClickFunnels is where you have your funnels and you have your CRM and your automations and all of that. So Marketing Secrets AI is for helping you create your marketing, create the plan, create the stuff. And then ClickFunnels is the sales system still, where you would go and use that and execute on it.
And the nice thing about this is because you can have multiple workspaces, you can have one workspace set up for you personally, but then you could also have another workspace set up for a client. Or you could just have a client get their own Marketing Secrets account, however you want to do it. But you would set it up for them too. So then you're working with this client, you put in a whole bunch of their information, you put in past the videos that they've done, past webinars they've done, any kind of information, past emails that they've written, you can put all that in there. And then you could just go in and say, okay, we got this new project, we're selling this new widget, here's a bunch of information about it, give me 5 emails to sell this product. And it's going to look at not only Russell's frameworks, but it's going to look at everything about that business, write out the emails based upon the product that you just gave it. And then do we have the ability right now to automatically load that into ClickFunnels, or is that still a manual process of loading those into ClickFunnels into then a, what do you call it? An automation?
Yeah, I don't think that automations I don't think we can build automations from Marketing Secrets AI yet. This has been a hot topic, as you know, Dan, because you've been on the calls lately with people asking about this constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't know.
All the emails. All the emails can be written though inside of Marketing Secrets. So if nothing else, you just copy.
Yeah, you can just copy and paste it over there.
Paste it in. It's is not, it doesn't bridge over quite yet. There's some technical issues on that, but you can do everything. And what she'll show you in a second here, what Susan will show you in a second, is you could do, it's not just writing emails, it's webinars, it's all of your ads, it's all that kind of stuff. So actually, Susan, if you could share your screen, but I got a question for Winter. This goes to a much higher level. Well, first off, let's start off with, when did you guys start working on this? And just give us kind of a little bit about, how do you build a monster like this? You're muted.
Sounds all you, Winter.
Hear me.
Winter, you
Hi.
there you
Hi.
go. There you go.
Okay. Like all good products that come out of like Edison and ClickFunnels and Prime Mover, it started with Todd. So Todd first started the project, and then he builds a lot of things, and he threw the idea to Russell, and then but it hit a chord because what you have to think about when you think of marketing secrets and the chief of staff particular, it's your first AI employee in a way. Like, so if you think of it, it's like you're plugging in an AI employee into your business, and what should it know? And if you think of it as the chief of staff of your business, then you can start to think of it that way. And so that's where uh, the impetus of the idea came from. Is like, okay, everyone's going to have this AI employee in the future anyways, but we can make it now through this platform and give it the arms and the tool calls to be able to interact with ClickFunnels and all the different things. And most importantly is all the skills and all the things that it knows that Russell did. All that stuff actually came from Russell. So there's a surprising amount inside of this is probably the first application where a lot of the stuff that you're touching and like especially with the one-to-many apps and everything, that directly came from Russell making the skill, making the UI, and then I implemented it. So it is like a first of its kind in the way we developed it and the way we approach it. But I would just like really think of that concept of like it is the AI employee, your chief of staff, and how you think of that. Like,
And so pretty much what just when you to get started, because a lot of the tools, I mean, even 6 months ago, what we have now did not exist. Overskill didn't exist because you guys probably built it throughout this entire process. But what was like the very first thing you built, and how did you guys build it? Was this I don't even know where to start on that. I mean, did you obviously used AI to start building it, but did you start building it on something crazy like N8N and then finally moved on, and you built it in bolts or something? I mean, how did it get started?
well, since like Todd, he has like 20 years of experience of building stuff. Same with me. We started like locally on like our computers and like the way we normally do it. But when we first started the project, when we first jumped on, you could see that it had 17 different things that it could do, and we had to pare it down like over because it was almost overskill at one point. Like it almost did everything over. Like, so we had to like pare it down and then it get more closer to what it actually is. And what the first thing that I would suggest anyone who has marketing secrets and how it should be like first interacted with is connect your email or your important communications and then say, hey, every morning at 8 a.m., find the most important things that require my attention today. And then every morning you'll get a new chat with that, hey, here's the most important things. And that's like the first way to integrate these AI into your life and your business is to report back to you like through a routine and a schedule. And then you start to think of like, okay, what more can it do? You can synthesize data. You can be like, hey, this is one thing I do is I have it grab the stuff from Product Hunt and then from Muncheye and like affiliate sites like that for internet marketing products. And then I put them together and then I grab information on the latest tech platforms like Ruby on Rails and everything. And then so it's putting that aside. And then I say every like 3 days, come up with a new idea that's based on all the stuff that we just checked and the new technology. So it's synthesizing new technology with new ideas to come up with stuff that I would never come up with because I don't want to integrate new technology. So I'm synthesizing new data. Like I don't know if that's like a real thing, but like that's what I've been doing, and it's kind of like insane to see how it like comes up with data like that. But I would just like integrate it. Like the first thing you could do is just treat it like ChatGPT and talk to it. Or you can say like, how is this like integrating? What is it doing for me tonight? If there is anything it could do.
Okay, so you set up a bunch of routines then is what you set up inside of
Yeah.
marketing secrets, right? Okay, so to set up a routine in there, I think the simplest way to do it, and you can tell me if you did it some other way, is you say to your chief of staff, okay, every morning I want you to go out and grab all my emails. So the first thing you say is, okay, I've connected you to my Gmail account, let's say. Go out there and prove to me that you can actually grab my last 5 emails. So it goes over there, grabs the last 5 emails, pulls them in, takes a look at it. Then you can say to it, okay, now look at the ones that are important and look at the ones that aren't and discard the ones that aren't. And then it'll keep the important ones. And then you say, okay, great. Now let's make that into a routine. So you tell it, you get it to prove it can do it. And then you say, okay, now make the routine to do this every single morning at 8 a.m. And it will do that for you and set up the routine and then run it every morning for you at 8 a.m. Same thing with everything else Winter said is, once every morning, go out to these 5 different blogs, look at these 10 different email or newsletters, go out and find all that information, pull it in, and then once a week, synthesize it all into like the best 10 ideas you have for the week for me to be able to create new products with it. Is that kind
you
of what
nailed it kind of like so well, the first part, because that's kind of what we have to think about going forward in the future. Like we're going to get to that. I'm jumping ahead, but in terms of like, what is the thing that you could do right now is identify standard operating procedures that you do and then teach it to the AI. And then because you nailed it exactly, like, hey, prove, can you do it? Like you understanding this flow that I'm actually talking about, prove that. And then, okay, we now let's codify that into something can actually do predictably over time. And the real magic is like, I did this with like when I first started using OpenClaw, which is more technical and totally not worth setting up because it's so much babysitting. But once you start to like add one thing and then two things, it's like, okay, I get that. And then once you start adding 6 things together, that's when the magic happens where you're like, oh man, I could have never done that fast. Like I can never do this service, that thing. Like, so I feel like there's like a tipping point for people where the magic happens. It's either, okay, the first skill or the first thing that you teach it and it does it, or when you start to take 2-3 pieces that you thought you couldn't put together and then you put it together and you're like, holy crap. Like that's because there's lots of magical moments in this, like as we get replaced by robots. But some of them are very cute, So.
And one of the things I was going to say, just real quick here, that made me think about with Winter is, if you're writing any kind of code, if you have any history of writing any kind of code, I have a little bit. Winter has 1,000 times more than I do. But the hardest part was always, okay, you build something and then you get an error, and then you got to spend 3 days trying to figure out what that error did. The beauty of building anything now is, you get an error, pops up on the screen, you copy it, show it to the AI. Oh, that's a blah, blah, blah. And it fixes it in 3 seconds. And then you get the next error comes up, boom, you put it in there, it fixes it. And what would have taken you days now literally takes like 2 minutes because the AI is so incredibly intelligent and so incredibly fast. It's just unbelievable. So, all right, we still long enough, Susan. You aged like 5 years since we last talked to you.
I wanted to ask Winter. Winter, when was the last time that you've written code?
Actually written code? January. So I've heard this from a few people that are very prominent in the tech industry. AGI happened in January, December last year, right? For all the coders,
better, right? That's why we saw that huge jump where everything got better.
Yeah, there was a few things that happened. It reminds me of when Facebook started. If you guys remember how Facebook started, it actually started attacking MSN Messenger and started taking all the contacts. And then that happened. And then it's like, oh, it blew up. It's like, well, actually, it did things that we forgot that it did. So in January and December, Claude and Codex OpenAI gave everybody unlimited usage for like 3 weeks. And they kept doing that. So all the people who were, it was literally the amount of usage that all the developers got during that time was so much so that going off that tipping point, you couldn't come back. So that's when it happened. And I think that we won't code again, essentially.
Well, I find that interesting because I've not heard anybody say that until right now. But I mentioned it. We've all mentioned it here. There was something that happened around the first of the year that it just went boom. And it just became so much smarter and so much faster.
And it got
context window. I'm finding now the context window is really getting to the point where it's unlimited. I'm not having any context window issues lately.
The thing that is now happening, and it's a weird psychological thing, and I hope it goes away, is this usage. Like we have like tokens for a lot of things, but just usage. So I'm constantly being like, okay, I have like 99% left on Claude, but 10 on Codex. And I'm like, it's weird to think usage, like I'm going to be finite and like have to stop during the day. Because really what we're doing is having to offload as much as possible. Like it is, I don't know, like it's crazy how much we have to think above what we've been doing. And it's really hard for me as a developer because I'm the first one. Like I got like I'm going to say a little something personal. So over the last 2 months, I've actually had to do the least amount of work that I've done with Russell the last 2 years. And I was like, man, I'm not doing anything. Like this is kind of boring. And I was like, well, what's the big thing? I was like, oh, right, Overskill. I got replaced by Overskill because it's like everything is going to Overskill and it's coming out so awesome. And it's like, actually, so that's right there is like, how do we like everyone's going to have that moment where something is going to replace them and they have to think on top of that new world, you know?
Well, that brings up a good question here. Are you guys using Overskill now to build marketing secrets apps, or how do you guys just had that big UI change? How did you?
I don't know how much
how
we
do
could spill the beans there, but I'll touch my hat and be like, it's app section. You know, so yeah, everything going forward is going to be Overskill built, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it probably doesn't matter, Winter, because Overskill is a company that they own. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
okay, so just to answer your question, Dan, the V2 redo of Marketing Secrets AI, that was not Overskill. Like, Marketing Secrets AI is not built in Overskill. It is completely outside. Winter can tell you details if you want to know that. I don't know, but you know how we have the software within Microsoft. Wow, within Marketing Secrets. Side note, tangent. My kids just started going to school at a different school, and at their previous school, they all had Chromebooks. And at this new school, they were all given what's the Lenovo books, the Lenovo computers, and they all have Microsoft stuff on them. So I'm like having to talk about Microsoft with them all the time. They've never touched Microsoft apps ever before in their life, but now they have to know it for school. So anyway, so what I was saying is that the software, the little, like the tools, the features, we have like little mini software inside of Marketing Secrets AI. Those also currently, what you have in there are also not built in Overskill. But because we live in this age where people like Russell are like, oh, wow, I can do this. I want to have more control over what this experience is for my customers. And it's easier for me to just talk to the AI and shape it through AI than to talk to a developer, and then they have to translate what I'm saying, and then they have to go make my vision for me, which is a longer process back and forth, right? And so so you will probably start to see some of the mini software inside of Marketing Secrets AI that are built on Overskill, and we'll start to insert them in, because Russell's been building a lot of things that he knows the customers need, but he just wants to be able to just pump them out and get them in there. So also with that said, like there's still an incredible need for like developers and Winter. Like we have people on the team right now that they're needing to make sure that bugs are getting fixed, and that the AI is getting it right, and Winter is making sure that what Russell wants is actually going to work, and connecting all of the things. So not everything is not everything is 100% AI.
Yeah, that's, well, it never will be, but maybe. But I was going to say the beauty of Overskill is, so you're the visionary, you're the Russell Brunson, you have the idea, you just speak it into the machine and it gives it to you. But the best part about it is you have the instant feedback, because boom, it shows it to you on the screen. No, that's not what I wanted. I want you to move this over here, move that over there, and change this functionality. And then after you click this button, I want to do this. Then it shows it to you. That isn't quite right yet. And you just keep iterating. Whereas if you had to do that with a developer, I mean, first off, back in the old days, it would be months of iterations. Even now, if you had to talk to a developer who was then feeding that into AI, it would still be weeks. And now we could get this development cycle down to hours, days at the most, and get the entire thing built. And it comes out exactly how Russell wants it as Russell is building it.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most important part.
That is, like, I was going to say, is like, that's the craziest part, is that when these apps do get into Marketing Secrets, you can basically guarantee that they started from Russell's brain. He did everything. It's a whole new world, like, in terms of, like, because he's always had to go through the synthesis of me and, like, other people like me who are like, hey, here's an idea, and then I give it to it, and I add my flair to it. And he just kind of, like, we try it, but he's such a nice guy that he's like, okay, we'll do that. But, deep down, he's like, I didn't want you to do that. but now it's just straight up. So, like, when I first shown Ben, because I was at the office one time and Ben was like, I'm like, what do I do? And I'm like, well, you know. And then he's like, well, can I start doing Claude to do some coding stuff on one of the, and then he did Influencer Secrets. So if you look at Influencer Secrets and all the things there, that's all Ben. So he didn't code anything before, and then got connected, and like the things that he added and the way he was doing it showed me like within an hour. I was like, I would have never been able to take what you were saying and implement it in that way to then, because it was so very much what he wanted and how he wanted it, that, and it was like perfect. It was like, oh man, like the shortcut, we just enabled like the thought to reality or digital reality. It's so awesome.
Well, on that note, show us Influencer Secrets. Show us what Ben built just by taking it out of his brain and putting it into an app.
Sure. Let's see. Okay.
Madison, are you there? Just want to make sure she's there.
Yes, I'm here. I am here.
Oh my God.
We're doing snacks now.
We're doing snacks. We did a little drinky drink. Now we're on to snacks. And she just looks like she's so happy over there. When I saw her earlier, she was very much loving being on your lap.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just share a tab here. So this is Marketing Secrets AI that you should be seeing. Let me know when you guys see that.
And there we go.
Okay. So this is right when you log in. And so this is the whole, like the app. This is where you're going to interact with Chief of Staff. But within it, we have other software, as I was talking about. There's like little feature software. And when you go into here, I'll go into the Influencer Secrets one right here. Dream 100 is what this is helping you to do. And actually, let me just show it how it would load if you were coming in here for the first time. We have this training that lives above it, and it teaches you all the things about Dream 100 and how to even use the software that is below it. So this is what we're talking about for the app that Ben basically built. And yeah, it's just this tool that allows you to come in and research by keywords or by names. I like to do chiropractor because we all know that there's a ton of chiropractors out there. So maybe you're like trying to find them to connect with to do Dream 100 stuff. And then it does this research for you, and it pulls up, I think it's pretty much all Instagram accounts, I think, at this point, because I think it was the one that was the most reliable. I'm not sure what the thought process was there, but you can see down here, oh, there's a TikTok one. It tells you what, I think just a lot of people are on Instagram, but you see like the platform they're on. It gives you how many followers they have, the engagement of their followers, and then you get to save that person. And then there's a whole thing in here about how you can create campaigns for these people that you are wanting to do outreach to. And then you can actually go do outreach to them. So it's basically this software that is helping people to go implement the Dream 100 strategy. And that's pretty much what is here. And what Russell wants available to everybody is that he has a framework, he has a particular strategy or tactic, and he wants people to have the tool that's going to make it easier for them to go actually implement and put into action that strategy. So you can see we have a lot of different things here. We've got go create your webinar or your VSL. We have his email sequences. We have social media content. We have how to do ads. And these are actually helping you to create those things, not just teaching you. Extract your framework. This RevScan one is awesome. Like it helps you do deep research on people, and you can even turn those people in. It creates proposals, and you can go turn people into clients for you with that.
So I want to stop you here real quick. So on the Dream 100. So obviously we all know, anyone who's been in Russell's world for any period of time knows the Dream 100. Go out and find 100 people that can help to promote your products, or you can sell to, however you want to look at it. Now I see up at the top says campaigns and outreach.
Yeah.
What does this also? I've identified 50 chiropractors that I want to market to because I want to build funnels for them, let's say. Okay, what do the campaigns look like? Are we talking emails? Are we talking social media? How does that get set up? Because again, this is because the point I want to bring in here is that because this is all connected to your chief of staff, which is your second brain, which knows your business, knows you, has been fed all the emails you've ever written, every video you've ever done. It knows all that information. It can combine those two things together. So now we found the 50 people we want to market to. We know what our business is. Now we're going to mash it together and start building out our marketing campaigns.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you just real quick. So let's say Dr. Alex here is someone that I want to go try to connect with and network with. You can see it's pulling in his information automatically. So I'm basically saving him. I'm saving him to my influencer list. And I'm going to go to the influencer list. And now he's here. So everybody that I'm adding is going to be here. Then I think when I was just saving it, let me do that again real quick. Let's do, it's like there's several Dr. Alex's.
Yeah, I see.
He has several
Now,
accounts maybe on
as
different
you're
platforms.
doing this, as you're going out there and you're researching these things and you're pulling in all these people, I'm assuming this is going to be costing some credits while you're doing this, correct? Because you're using the AI.
Actually, it does actually cost us credits to search the data, like, but I don't think we're reflecting it onto you guys. So, and it is, I think TikTok is more expensive to get those results. But there is a cost to searching, but I don't think it's being dragged. That's
Okay.
like
I don't think it is. Let's just take a quick
Okay,
look.
so as of right now, there may not be any cost for this, but it may be some costs in the future. But even if it is, let's say it costs you 25 credits. What does that equate to? $2?
Well, and now you have a bunch of names. I'm costing the company credits every time I'm hitting that button, I'm sure. But wait, it tells us right here. So we have 646 matches, right? And then I get to go through here, or you can get real clever and use your Claude Cowork to go through here for you and find all of the ones that seem like good ones. And then you're saving them. And then you have a list of people that you can outreach to. And I think that was like, for me in this space, ever since I came into Russell's world, I love the idea of Dream 100, but the hardest part about the whole process is coming up with your list of people.
Doing it.
Well, yeah. And then the second hardest part about it is actually like getting yourself to go reach out to those people on your list. Yeah. And so this whole thing is taking care of that for you. It's making it easier. You still have to be courageous and hit the button to actually reach out to them. But that's what it's doing.
You could go out and scrape a list like this using other tools. Manus comes to mind for me. I think that would be one that you could use to go out and scrape these tools. But then you still, so now you have a list. You don't have the cool interface here with all kinds of things you can do in there. You don't have the ability to, you would have to build out basically this entire platform somewhere else to be able to go somewhere else and scrape it and then be able to do the same thing. And you still have to be able to feed it in all of your own personal business information and Russell's brain on top of it. So so you set up this entire thing here. Let's say you were being charged credits, and let's say it cost you $10. Well, come on, what can you get for $10? Even $20, even $50, maybe $100 to build out an entire Dream 100, set up 3, 4, 5 different campaigns to be able to go and reach out to those people. What is that really worth to you? One client could be $10,000.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you've been watching me at all. So you can then put your person into one of your campaigns. You're selecting. You guys saw the view where it was kind of the Trello board looking thing. I'll go back to that. So I've just added her into that, and so we go back in there. Now she's in here. We can edit these to make them make sense for what your campaign actually is. You can move them through the line, and then you have your broadcasts you can outreach via email. You can outreach through, you can connect accounts. You can connect your email. You can connect Instagram, LinkedIn. If it's not listed here, it's because there is a limitation on that specific platform. Won't allow us to connect to it at this point. So that's why there's some missing. But you also can just now, the campaigns also are trained. Ben does this whole training, which is really cool, in our platinum upgrade offer, where he talks about there's like 4 or 5 5 different people that have their Dream 100 strategies, and they all approach it slightly differently. And so when you're creating your, I think it's in your outreach, and you're going to make your templates of your outreach somewhere in here, I'd have to watch the training video, but you can choose which of their strategies. Like, I want to follow the Catherine Jones strategy, and then it'll write all of your outreach messages and the timing of them, and just the flow of your outreach according to Catherine's framework. So it's doing all of that work for you, of even knowing what to say, which I feel like is the part that's why we don't actually go do this and outreach to people, is because we don't know what to say. And it's doing that for you. And then you can actually send the messages and have it be tracking it's tracking it for you too. And then it's telling you like, hey, you need to follow up with this person. So it's pretty powerful. And that's just one of the tools that's in Marketing Secrets AI.
Right. And so this has taken essentially a team of people and turned it into a singular app, because I forget how many people Russell said that he's let go and how much money he saved on salaries for those people he had to let go. And it's all right in here for, I don't know, what's the basic plan? $97 a month.
Yeah.
And maybe
all of these things,
token usage, maybe. And apparently with some of this stuff, you're not even getting charged tokens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it appears so. I can keep coming back and looking at my token usage, and the last was several hours ago. So it's either not registered or it's not costing anything. So I think, Winter, you were right on that one.
Yeah, and I don't think it's like that, like, worth charging people for that, since, but to illustrate that particular software is like, it's marketing software by marketers. Like, there was always an in between, like a programmer or somebody. So you could see like this was a flow that Ben actually used in real life. Like, and like he knew all the nuances of it all. And like, so I'm kind of like also talking about how like this is how you would use Overskill, in terms of like, something better than anyone else, even if it's like, okay, I'm building another project management app or whatever, but it's like you're building like the thing that is actually to your bespoke knowledge. And I feel like if we would have not used like AI in this way to like let Ben actually create this, and same thing with Russell, is that we're like all the nuance would have been gone. So like this is a really deep app. Like, it's pretty like simple looking, but like it actually gets pretty deep when you like, because Ben would go deeper and deeper and deeper into it, right? So hopefully that, like, so we want Marketing Secrets to feel like, because its goal is to help you market your business. Like, I get to help you do that. So if you're worried about credits, I would just be like make sure you treat it as like, you wouldn't, like, say you hired somebody for $1,000 a month, let's just say, you wouldn't ask them to do frivolous things. You'd ask them to do like things that are important to you. So you would try to like focus on those. So maybe experimentation early on is worth it, but then thinking like, I'm paying for this, so therefore you must blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Like, well,
let's back up here. Let's talk about this for a second, because so Ben doesn't know anything about coding, built this entire thing. Winter, you know a little something about coding. How long, working with Ben, how long would it have taken you to build something like just this part of the app, just the influence?
To his spec, I feel like it would be impossible, because there would be so much nuances to everything. I would have taken shortcuts. I would have reimagined certain features. I would have like, oh, this is incorrect or that. So like how he was able to work effectively in this case is I already had a base kind of like of the app that did like a certain thing, but it wasn't great. It didn't do like any of this stuff. Like, it was very bad. And I kept thinking, okay, this is not great. And then he jumped in, so he had a base, and then he just took it off. And then right when he was done, all I did was just add like the UI look to it. Like, it was basically the same, but I just polished it up. So, but like it was the most effective. So basically, we did that before Overskill came out, and we didn't realize that skill. Like, so now he does like, so anything he builds in Overskill, like, it's just like, I don't know, like I'm like almost priding in the fact that I got eliminated from that thing, and I didn't roadblock him. Like, it was the first time I realized maybe I've been in the way of your excellence because you had to go through me, So I feel like that's the enabling.
But again, you worked on projects like this before. Could you have built this thing in 6 months?
Oh,
from scratch. If you had to build this thing from scratch 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago? Oh yeah, no, it would definitely.
I'm not talking now. I'm talking back.
It would definitely taken me 2 months of like hard work. and then with early AI, probably like less than a month. But right now, like with a good prompt and really knowing what you want, like a day.
Right. But
Yeah.
again, let's go back 2-3 years ago. What would you? So it would have taken you 2-3 months at least to build this thing. What would you have? What would you have charged?
Oh, I'm pretty cheap. I'm like $10,000. One time I charged that. My wife emailed them and got $20,000, and I was like, "You can do that? Like you could just double it." But yeah, it would have been $10,000, and it would have taken me more effort than it was that the value I would. So if it was a real, like if I was, it would have been 40 grand easily for a real like development team.
So 40 grand, 3 to 6 months, probably wouldn't have been nearly as good as what Ben was able to come up with here. And again, you get this as a package of stuff for $97.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's, and I on all these shows, I bring it back to that just to remind people of how good we have it and how cheap this stuff is. And partly I do that because I have to remind myself of it.
Mhm.
Because yeah, I mean, I hate having monthly payments on anything. If I got a choice between it, pay for it all up front or make a monthly payment, I always pay it all up front. Just because there's just something about having money coming out of my checking account every month that just bugs me, or on my credit card or whatever. And so $1,000 a year, you just got one of 20 things that this thing can do, 20 plus, and it costs you virtually nothing.
Exactly. And like one thing you have to think about when we start building stuff in Overskill, like we're replacing apps or like easy ones like Calendly or whatever. So like I'm not trying to say it's easy to make Dream 100 Influencer Secrets thing, because there's actually not. It requires a lot of like technical stuff in the background to like get the data and do all this stuff. But I wouldn't think of stuff as easy to replace, even if they are, because you have to think about ownership. Am I willing to take ownership of this problem forever? So if you wanted to replace the software or make something, you're basically saying own it and and make sure that I would advise against like recreating your own marketing secrets or your own Overskill, unless that's like something you wanted to do and because you definitely can't. It's just more technical, but like you're just owning that problem more than you might have before. And that was one thing I told Ben when he started. I was like, you realize that when you do this, like we're going to be coming to you for fixes, and because now you're the domain expert. Now you own this.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is you mentioned people building their own marketing secrets or building their own Overskill. One of the things that I've heard Todd mention is, okay, great. There's a lot of people who can build this, but they have now 10 plus years of experience of the back end and the security issues and the payment gateway issues and all that stuff that we don't see. Even when you're building an Overskill, you go in there and say, hey, give me a blah, blah, blah. Well, you can do that because they've already figured out the back end stuff and you never have to worry about it. That's the other really cool thing about using these kind of platforms is even using ClickFunnels. I don't have to worry once I hook up my Payments AI, Payments AI, all these terms, Payments AI to my account. I don't have to think about payment gateways anymore. I spent a couple of minutes, click, turn a few things on. Yeah, Susan, if you want to talk about it, we can move on to Overskill in case people haven't seen that yet. But, you let somebody else, like Winter said, they own it. Todd owns this. If there's a problem, everybody gets to look at Todd and go, excuse me, let's get it fixed. And, we've all experienced outages, especially with Claude of late. It's just turns itself off every now and again. But my internet, Tuesday we're going live. Right as we're going live, my internet decided to stop. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. My internet never goes down. It was a bright, sunny day. All of a sudden, my internet's gone. Shit happens. But somebody had to take ownership of that and fix my internet. Where? I don't know where they were. Could have been down in South America for all I know. But they turned it back on. And they took the ownership.
Yeah.
So I'll just interject one thought before Susan so the ClickFunnels SDK that's come out, and like if you guys have heard about it, we'd love to talk about it. But that has taken I had a good thought and it keeps leaving me. Dang it! I lost it. But Dang it, but it is totally relevant to what you're saying. Sorry, guys.
Okay. If you get it back, interrupt me. I was just going to speak to kind of what you were just talking about, Dan and Winter, when you brought up like ownership. It reminded me of this thing that I think there's one thing that I kind of foresee and already see it happening right now, that AI, like we were already living in a world where we have almost instant gratification, right? We have computers in our pockets. We have all the knowledge of the world at our fingertips. We have entertainment wherever we look. Like we're a society and a culture of instant gratification. And I think that now, even with more AI coming into play, and we can vibe code apps and we can do it ourselves now. I have noticed that there is even like there's a mindset shift happening and this is not in a good way. So hopefully this is like a cautionary message. We still need to be showing up and giving the humans behind the creations some grace. I think that when we see like, oh, it's just so quick, just go in and fix it. Like I could just go vibe code that and it'd be fixed if it was mine. But you don't see what's happening in the back end, and you also don't know what's being worked on and what's priority and all of these things. And so I think that hopefully soon, as we keep going down this road and there's more software owners that they've created their own software and they now have their customers asking them for fixes and feature requests and all of that, that maybe it'll start to even back out because they will see the other side of like, I know that they all want this, but I got to focus on this other thing first, and then I'll come back to that. And so I think let's just all be careful about our expectations. I think our expectations are shifting to where we think that because it's easy to do, we are we are almost entitled to getting it quickly given back to us. And so that's just kind of my message. I've seen that happen a little bit right now. I think it might get a little worse before it gets better. And Winter, you might feel that as well. But did the thought come back to you at all?
Yeah, it did. So with the ClickFunnels SDK is since it, like say this is how I imagine ClickFunnels is that it's got its head cut off. So now the head of ClickFunnels was the editor, right? And now with the SDK, it's kind of lost, its head's cut off. But do you ever want to rebuild the body of ClickFunnels? No. Like it's like, okay, I want to build a funnel. Okay, now Claude or Overskill, now build me the whole infrastructure to send an automated email sequence. Like, no, you don't want to do that. You just want to connect to Resend or ClickFunnels or something and be doing that. So if you want to redo that whole thing, you've lost all leverage, all speed, and you've taken on ownership of a really difficult problem. So like, I think the people who will move the fastest here are going to find the fastest, slimmest way to do stuff without being like, I have to take on everything just because I can. Then it would be like the people who are moving faster might just stay with Calendly. They're like, wait, why do I have to rebuild Calendly? They just like stick with that. Where are you getting the most leverage? And that's and I think it's in places we don't really expect, because I think we're going to go through such a massive change by December. I don't know if anyone's going to have the same kind of job. And in 2027, what all the people are saying is it's going to be so different that we might not even it feels crazy that we used to sit there and type forever for all this code, and not what it might feel like in 2 years right now that it feels crazy to be thinking like that.
Oh,
yeah. And we got about 9 minutes left here to the top of the hour. And we'll show Overskill. Well, we've been showing Overskill virtually every show so far, so we don't need to go into that. But it was something that we had talked about a little bit before, and Winter brought it up here. It's like, what does Christmas time of 2027 look like? Christmas of 2028, a year or two from now. As fast as this stuff is moving, and with that explosion that we saw 9 months ago, it's going to be incredible. And I will bring up the one thing that Russell was talking about the other day, and how he's working with Overskill is he's running like 6 different projects at the same time. And so all he does is he picks up his phone and he says, I don't know what he's got on here, exactly how he's set up, but he says, okay, project number 1, I need you to do this, this, and this, and it'll do it. Or no, actually, he wasn't even doing that. He was instructing co-work. So let me back up because I kind of messed up the story here. So what Russell essentially is doing is running 6 different agents simultaneously by using co-work. So co-work is the main agent over the top of everything else. The 6 projects inside of Overskill are basically 6 other agents being run by the agent up here. And that's really the direction things are going. If you look at Grokbot, you go in there, you give it a project, and what it'll do is it'll spin up 4, 5, 6 other agents that all have their own little desktops, and they're all in there working on their own, and they can talk to each other. And then when they get done, they go, okay, here's what we did, and then they give it to the main agent. And that's essentially what Russell did, whether he knew it or not. He went to co-work and said, okay, I want you to connect to these 6 other projects I have going on in Overskill, but I want you, co-work, to be managing everything. So I want you to just keep this project going because here's the overview on each one. You need to keep kicking Overskill in the butt and turning it back on and getting it going to get to the goals that we set for each one of these. Is that the way you guys see it?
That's literally what's been happening this entire time. It's been coding for Overskill behind this browser the entire time, and I'm looking at it. It's like it's been going for an hour and 20 minutes now, and I'm doing. Russell told me how to do it, and I'm doing exactly the way to do it. And I wish I could show you how it's doing it, but it's happening. But one thing I would. Because I showed Russell how I was doing it, and he's like, "You're still doing it wrong because you're still a human. And you're still trying to do it that way." And then, so I've been running it, and every once in a while I peek at it, and it fundamentally approaches it differently. So we give it an idea, and then it breaks it up into tasks, but it also tries to get much context out of you, so it's not going off the rails. But then when you actually see what it's typing into Overskill and the way it approaches it is so alien to me. I'm like, wow, I would never. But then it's like, wait, like. Maybe the future isn't humans talking to AI, it's AI talking to AI. So like maybe this is like it's like it's a weird thing, but it's literally how so that was hard for me to even go like, wait a minute, I have to go a step above this and delegate to the AI that's delegating to the AI, and it's happening right now.
Well, I just want to back up to one thing here is Russell Brunson told you how to code.
Yeah. You just see, oh man, I was like
you must have just looked at him and just you just had like have a moment in your life of what the hell.
He actually took coding, I think, in college before wrestling or something. So he does like he's always been that person. But there's been a shift in well, I don't think it's actually him. I think it's AI. But I've noticed like the way he was typing on Slack. I'm like, man, like how did you get so technical? And it's like, oh right, no, that's the AI. Like like it's like a shift.
It's just a funny thing. So Russell, we're building one of the many apps that Russell is building right now. He just handed it off to me. He's like, okay, I've got this far enough. Just you take it over and make it the way that it needs to be. And he got his Claude to give like a handoff file. Like, okay, because I'm going to take it over with my Claude, and it's Overskill. It's Claude, but interacting with Overskill. So it's Overskill built. And he sent it to me, and I was in the office yesterday, and he comes out and he's like, did you read that document yet? He's like, it was so funny. It says in the document, wants things like, don't give him technical terms. He doesn't understand, he doesn't understand it. And like, it's like the Claude made in the document, like how to talk to Russell and it passed it on to me. And I think that's just, it goes to show like, you don't need any of that. You don't need to know technically what's going on. And I would argue that those of us, and this is not to be a slant or be demeaning in any way towards you, Winter, or you, Dan, who you have done a lot of coding. But I think that we think differently, right? I think that's true no matter what industry we're talking about. I think people who have gone through all that education, they've been trained in a specific way of how to think about things. And those of us where we don't even, it's like we have no limitation. Like we don't even know how it works. So we have no limits. And we just go in and like, oh, well, let's just make this happen. Like it must work. Like there must be some way that it'll work. And we just go in and we just expect it to work. We expect it to be able to do what we want to do, whatever idea we dream up, and we don't start thinking about like, oh, that's probably not going to work because it's going to be complicated because we're going to have to like connect this thing to this thing. It's like we don't think about that because we don't understand the complications. So I feel like like we almost have an advantage when it comes to thinking through the ideas and like coming up with ideas on how things can be. But then obviously like coders and developers have the advantage because they actually can make more complicated things work and they can do all the connections and continue to do things that we have no idea what we're doing with.
Russell said the exact same thing on the call today. He said every programmer that he's talked to, try to like show these ideas to, they've all overcomplicated it and like got overwhelmed and stopped doing it, because even I kept doing that. And it's like, yeah, you're exactly right. Like by not going through all this hardship, you're not bringing all of this like bad context along with you. You have like just a even playing field, and like you'll say it better than, but then we have our own superpowers, right? Like, yes. But like I've made so many open club. I've wasted so much time. So like, don't do that. Don't be smarty pants about this. Be Russell about this. Russell really very much is like, make it simpler, be faster, do more, but it's by the lens of making it simpler, not through the lens of making an even more complicated thing. Even what Dan said, his way he's telling all these projects to work, it's here's my idea, go nuts, like, and then format the thing, but then it's input, super simple, get out, super simple.
Well, and Susan had the same experience when she started. She loaded a whole bunch of stuff into it the very first time she used it. I did the exact same thing. Hey, here are all these files. Here's this information. Here's all this. And what it keeps coming back to, and every time we're talking to anybody about Overskill or even marketing secrets or working with Claude or ChatGPT, is the first prompt should be very simple. Can you build me this thing that does X, Y, Z? And here's the reason why I want it built. And then just let it give you the first rendition of it. Let it show you something, because 9 times out of 10, you just give it that because this thing has infinite intelligence. It knows everything that has ever been built. It can just go, oh, well, I know exactly what he's looking for. He's looking for this project over here, and we're just going to go over there, basically grab it off the shelf and build it for him. And I think that's, you just start simple and then build from there. You go, okay, that's great, that's fantastic. I hate the colors you made it, but but I also needed to do this, and here's the reason why. I think that the more you give it the why, the more it can figure it out.
And I'll add just what the last thing here is that Overskill is built fundamentally different than Lovable, Bolt, and all the other ones, because Overskill wants you to be done and delivering your software. It doesn't really want to be like, okay, let's spend all day thinking, and like, it's not trying to get you to spend more credits. It really, if a really good prompt goes in, you can almost be done there. If you knew exactly and had it all planned out, and then we'll end with 500 words of context in for 1 word of output out. So the more you can really define what you want without like, depends on how you want to do this, but like the more you can like, you're not guessing, the faster it will be. But it is really designed for you to get done. It's not like, so it's going to really want to push you to be done a lot of the times rather than push you to continue to.
Yeah.
Well, and the I forget what I was going to say now, but that's one of the nice things about Overskill is it does give you something right away. Whereas with other platforms, it might take 3 or 4 or 5 rounds with the AI before it can give you something. With Overskill, it'll put something on the screen for you. It may not be what you're asked for, but if you put in a good prompt and you tell it what do you want it to do and why you want it to do it, it should give you something really good.
Yeah. And get you, like with ClickFunnels, it was the ClickFunnels Classic. It was trying to get you to the most uncomfortable place right away. Hey, I have an idea of a thing. Okay, awesome. You made your funnel. Okay, now go sell it. Like, oh, wait a minute, I wanted to work on my funnel for 6 weeks. Like, no, you have to go sell it now. It's like, I want to work on my app for another 2 weeks. Like, no, you're done. Go sell it now. It's like, okay, we're getting you straight to being done, and then marketing secrets and like all the training and everything to be like, get straight into the water as fast as you can. Make an ad, sell something, like, because apparently everyone's saying it's the time to do it, right? Because we don't know. So like, try something crazy.
Well, and I think right now speed to market is probably more important, and I'm talking to myself more than anyone else in this room here right now. Speed to market is more important because we don't know what the market's going to look like a month from now. So if you want to get something sold, you got to get it out there now, because what you just built and put out to the marketplace may be obsolete next month. So you got
or someone else built something and got it out and is already taking over that niche or whatever.
There's so many things there. All right. Anybody got anything else here? Because we're past the top of the hour and we should probably wrap it up.
Taste is the most important thing that we have as a human at this point. As it gets better and better, it's just like if we all produce the same painting, and then it just say Dan produced 100 paintings on the AI and everyone ever did, and then I say I'm the artist, I collect one and that's the one that took off. That was the only difference there, is that I had the taste to pick the one. So so double down on whatever taste you have, whatever it is.
What was the quote? Taste is an unspoken framework, or something like that. Came from Catherine's brother. I forget his name. Tanner. Something like that. It was like taste is just an unspoken framework, or something like that.
Nice.
Oh, yeah,
right.
I remember.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Any last words? Okay, well, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us. No, I think just you probably say this all the time, but like Marketing Secrets AI, I think if you just go to, I don't know what the actual URL is, but if you go to AISecretsChallenge.com, it will redirect you to the current thing, which is just to go sign up for a trial. And then you talked about codes and stuff. So yeah, for Overskill, you have to reach out to one of us to get in and get off the wait list. So and with Funnel Hacking Live AI, who knows what's going to be happening there. And so to find out, you should probably be there. FunnelHackingLive.com. starts September 21st. And I suspect there's going to be a bunch of releases around all of this stuff. And I suspect there's going to probably be some pretty cool events going on pretty much within the month after. That's just me guessing at this point. I'm looking for any tells from Susan's face as I say this kind of things there. So, but there's been enough scuttlebutt out there to know. So either way, let's get out of here, and we will see you. We will all be Madison, Funnel Baby, and I will be back.
No Funnel Baby. No Funnel Baby on Tuesday. No Funnel Baby. No Funnel Baby.
And forever. So, all right, I'm out of here. I don't know about you guys.
Bye-bye.